our first good of training camp?
It is without a doubt, I think, Trey Lance.
Absolutely.
The guy, obviously, like you just mentioned, Ben, he threw his first pick of training camp. I think, like you said, Chris Baderman said it was like a goal line, like picked at the goal line.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking at, Twitter, listening to what people are saying that are there, it seems like he's just at a whole different level than what I guess the 49ers and fans like really thought he would be at. And that is a very promising sign for him. And it's kind of impressive in a way, knowing that he hadn't played in a year and making his way into the NFL, like adjusting to the NFL lifestyle and that system. Today, as per Jason Aponte, who was at camp today, he went 9 of 12 today, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Really effective with the zone read, and Jimmy went 11 of 16 to 2 touchdowns and a pick and finished up strong. So, very healthy play from the quarterbacks. Jimmy's really picking it up these past couple of days. He was kind of struggling in the beginning from what I saw and from what I was seeing on social media. And, a thing, too, that Grant talked about, I watched one of Grant's clips yesterday when he was talking with his dad. He mentioned how Kyle Shanahan kind of like took him off to the side with the running backs, and they were working on, zone reads, and that was, they were running that to a T from what I was seeing. And, I think that's a very promising sign, understanding Kyle is committed to making sure that this guy is, on the right path in his development. And it's only day 5.
Yeah, it must have made Jimmy Garoppolo feel a certain way, saying that the quarterbacks are working in individual drills. Trey Lance is over there working individually with Kyle Shanahan, and I mean, I like you were saying from Grant's video, it seemed like that's something he's never done with a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. So this is a unique situation.
Because I don't know if he ever did that with Matt Ryan. Even with Matt Ryan, I don't know if he ever did that kind of thing. Maybe he did it with RG3. We don't know.
Yeah,
but it's interesting, and the thing that's like really impressing me about all of this is that looking at a mobile quarterback, it's very easy just to say they're an athlete playing quarterback, but in the instance of Trey Lance, he's a quarterback who's an athlete, and
exactly.
That's what really Kyle Shanahan wants to get out of this, and I think he is doing that, but also Trey is understanding he's not an athlete playing quarterback, right? He's stepping up in the pocket when he gets pressure.
And like we saw from I'm sorry to cut you off, but I was just going to say we saw from Kyle Shanahan's press conference from forever ago when he was describing his perfect quarterback over the offseason. He said it's a guy who can throw like Drew Brees and run like Lamar Jackson, right? And I'm not going to say Trey Lance can exactly do those things, but I think he brings that same sort of idea like you're talking about, how he's a pocket passer who also has the ability to make so much up in the ground game and really be not just gain yards and make big plays and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is great, but I think the real carrot on top that's going to help out Kyle Shanahan, that's going to help out the 49ers in specific, is that because of the threat that Trey Lance creates, it makes life so much easier for the rest of the team, right? Because when the defense has to worry about whether or not Trey Lance is going to pull it back and take it for a run himself on that zone read, makes life a lot easier for guys like Raheem Mostert and for Deebo Samuel and for Kyle Juszczyk. So I think for the 49ers with Trey Lance specifically, in the first 3 days, like I've seen multiple people talk about, he was a purely pocket passer. They didn't see scrambling from him. He didn't run at all. But that was and I know if people saw Grant's video, it seems like that was in the intention of if not the coaching staff from Trey's perspective, proving that he's the type of guy that he's, like you said, a quarterback. But he's a quarterback who can run. He's not a runner who throws, right? There is a big difference.
Because like what Grant mentioned too, like Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, when they have pressure, they always go back. and they like backpedal and they try and scramble around. But with Trey Lance, from what we've heard, for what most have seen who are there, he's really stepping up into that pocket, and that's really good. And I want to see. I'm happy that Trey Lance threw a pick today, because I need to, like, as bad as that may sound, like, obviously you want to see Trey Lance do very well, and ideally you don't want to have him. You want him to throw 50 touchdowns and 0 picks, right? But
Right.
I need to see Trey Lance one of these days just have a absolutely terrible day, the worst practice of his life, just so I can see how he can rebound from it. Because most of, his journey, especially in college, being at North Dakota State, they were the Alabama of the FCS, right? Because FBS is FCS. So
FC.
yeah. So they were far. North Dakota State was far and away better than literally everyone else, and Trey Lance was by far the best player in that conference, right? So I want to see him, how he faces that adversity and how he can adjust to it at a 21-year-old, being a 21-year-old kid, right? Like I'm older than Trey Lance.
I know, that's the crazy thing, Vinny. We're both
right?
older than Trey Lance.
So
we're both about to enter our senior year in college, right? And Trey Lance is younger than both of we are. So this is a kid who has all the expectations of the world on him, of course, but I mean, just the amount of pressure as a 21-year-old who's, this is your first professional job. I mean, I think he's been handling it really well so far. And I just want to end on this with Trey Lance. And we'll talk about this later, but I think I've gotten to the point, and I think you might agree with me on this, Vinny. Tell me if you disagree, that I think the upside that Trey Lance presents and the potential of Trey Lance far outweighs what the 49ers would have with Jimmy Garoppolo this year. Maybe not far, but I think it's starting to get to the point where a lot of fans are realizing that the downside of Jimmy Garoppolo and the potential of things going wrong is not quite worth it, because Trey Lance offers so much upside.
Yeah, I've been pretty consistent on that too. I've been consistently saying, like, if he's better than him in camp, if he's more prepared and he's ready for week 1, there's no reason for them not to start him week 1. And it seems like, based on what we've seen and based on what we've heard, he's very much on that trajectory. And Peter King released an article yesterday with the 49ers. There was of the 90 players that had logged on hours on their iPad time looking at film, Trey Lance was on the top. So that is a very promising sign. It's looking like, it's easy to overreact only having 5 days of camp, but based on what we have and based on the evidence, it seems to me that Kyle Shanahan made the right pick.